I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna show it to you. But you gotta bring everything. Give me your time. Give me your resources. Give me your excuses. Give me your doubt. Give me your concerns. Just give it to me. Give me the limited thing that you have this season, and I'm gonna show you how I'm going to multiply it. My leaders. That's not my car. That's not my car. Today, real quick, the Spirit, please lead me. Give me some strength today. Oh my gosh, the supernatural. God is getting ready to do the supernatural. What does that mean? God is getting ready to do things way beyond your imagination. And we say that. Beyond your imagination. We talk about that, but I know for me personally, I've ever really grasped what beyond my imagination actually means. You know what I mean? I've never grasped that. And this season through coaching, what I've recognized is one of the biggest principles that God has been speaking into my spirit, Lord, let me talk about this, is the principle of belief. There are certain things that God is getting ready to do in your life, my leader, that He just won't be able to do until you believe that He can actually do it. This is one of the biggest faith principles that we got to understand. One of the biggest prayers that I've been asking God this season is, Lord, give me strength and perspective to understand how to actually coach some of the people that you're bringing my way. Father, I do not know what I'm doing. It does not matter because everybody's different, and trying to take the same approach for everybody just does not work. God, I need your help. This situation and this client is beyond my comprehension, but you've brought in this person to me because you said that I can do it. And that's been my biggest prayer. That's been my biggest prayer. Y'all, I've been fasting just to get the answers for some of the people that I've been coaching. And it's really been touching my heart and my spirit. I was led to Matthews. To really get a new perspective on the supernatural, to get a new perspective on belief. And two things came out to me in Matthew chapter 14, and it was the second portion, not the first paragraphs in Matthews that talk about unlawful relationships, but the next two in Matthews chapter 14 that talks about the supernatural in the story of the loaves of bread, and then the story of literally Peter walking on water. So the first one in the loaves of bread, why this spoke to me so potently is because what God spoke on, what Jesus spoke on, was the fact that even though there was 5,000 people that they had to feed, they used 5 loaves of bread. Right? 5 loaves of bread and fish. Literally, they had limited resources. The resource was limited. And when you look at what they needed to do with the limited resources, it's like, yo, God, we're not going to be able to do this, Jesus. Like, Jesus, we just can't do this. Like, in the physical, the reality, you know how we always go towards things that are just realistic. Yo, we got to be more realistic. You got to be more realistic about your dreams. You got to be more realistic about your goals. You got to be more realistic about your potential. And it's not that you got to be more realistic. It's just that you got to bring them to God, right? Jesus said, bring them to me. Bring them to me. And what did Jesus do? Jesus went to prayer. He looked up at the heavens. He went to God with it. He prayed over it, and a miracle happened where they were able to, not only were they able to feed over 5,000 people, but it said they had 12 baskets of things left over. Not only were they able to do what they were called to do, they had more left over. And it spoke to my spirit because as I've been asking God, how can I do my coaching effectively? How can I help people effectively with the resources that I have? Lord, I need more resources. Lord, I need more of this. I need more of that. Lord, I need more finances. And all God is speaking and saying, Jaja, give me what you have at this moment in this time, and I'm going to increase it for you. I'm going to show you that you have more potential than you even can comprehend to do what you've been called to do. I'm going to show that to you. I'm going to show it. I'm going to show it to you. But you got to bring everything. Give me your time. Give me your resources. Give me your excuses. Give me your doubt. Give me your concerns. Just give it to me. Give me the limited thing that you have this season, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to multiply it. Okay, so that's one principle, but now the next question is how. And so in order to truly understand how, now we got to go into Peter. God, in the next verse, when we go into Peter, you know, Jesus went off to pray. Remember, this is a time where John the Baptist just got beheaded, and we're literally mourning over John the Baptist. We're mourning over his death. Jesus goes over to the hill, and he goes to pray. And all of a sudden, we see a supernatural. Jesus comes out into the water. Some don't know if the disciples just saw, you know, the spirit of Jesus, or they actually saw Jesus in the physical walking on water. That's not the point. The point is what Peter did next was literally he went to God in order to get closer to God. The challenge was, okay, walk on the water. So first and foremost, let's talk about this. I'm going to God, and I'll be able, so in Peter's mind, if this is Jesus, and as I go towards Jesus, if I go towards Jesus, I'll be able to do only the things that I can do in the midst or in the presence of Jesus. Like I can't walk on water at any other time, but in the presence of Jesus, right? If this is really Jesus, I should be able to walk on this water. If this is really my route, if this is really my client, if this is really my purpose, I should be able to do what only I can do in the presence of being in Jesus' presence, right? That supernatural strength, that supernatural power, that supernatural ability. If this is Jesus, if this is you. So Peter goes and he's walking on the water. And now that he's walking on the water, he's doing the supernatural. He's doing the thing that he can only do in the presence of going towards Jesus. Now that I'm doing the supernatural, what happens next? Because now we recognize that we're in the midst of doing the supernatural. My leader, some of us have been in a space where we're doing the thing God has called us to do, and we've been doing it for a time that now we forget that we're in alignment with Jesus. We forget that we're in the place that we're supposed to be. We forget. And now that we forget that we're in alignment with Jesus, we start to look around and we start to realize, oh snap. You start to realize all the problems that you never quite saw before. They were always there, mind you. When Peter was walking on the water, it was already stormy. It said that the storm, it was boisterous. What does that mean? It was tumultuous. What does that mean? It was fidgety. It wasn't a calm state in the sea when he walked on water. There was already a presence of chaos going on around him when he started to walk on water, initially having his sight on Jesus. But the second he took his sight off of Jesus, he recognized the storm. And because he stopped believing and focusing on Jesus, this is when he started, the Bible says he started to sink. My leader, you and I have been in this situation before. We've been in this situation before. And matter of fact, the chaos has always been there. The reason why you and I are starting to sink this season is because now we're relying too much of our own strength. We've gotten to a place where we've worked so hard that we started focusing on the fact that it's been us doing it. when it's never been us doing it to begin with. This supernatural has been happening because God has literally anointed us to do what we've been called to do. And it's to get back on focus, to know that with Jesus, this is how we can trek forward. You can remain and get back on top of floating on that water and walking on that boisterous life that you're actually living right now in the presence of Jesus. Jesus is the author of our peace, the author of our calmness, but it's to focus on the things of God. Well, okay, Jaja, how do I start focusing on the things of God when I've already recognized that I'm starting to sink? It's just to get back in that shift of prayer. I'm gonna tell you, it's prayer and it's fasting. It's getting back to praying to God for strength, praying to God for courage, praying to God for confidence, praying to God for your abilities, praying to God to press through. It starts with prayer. And if you want to take it to the next level, we go into fasting. We go into fasting. We got to get into the spiritual. It's not about the natural, it's about the spiritual. Jesus was telling Peter, when did you stop believing? At what point did your faith diminish? Right? At what point? But it's about the belief. We have to now understand and believe that God will do what he's promised to do. He will do it. And when we recognize this, the sooner we recognize this, my leader, the faster we'll get on track, my leader. We have to. So when I started to ask God, I said, God, okay, I believe that with all the information, all the books that I study and read, all the challenges that I go through myself, all the people that I've already helped, this next person that you've given me, I can do it. I know I can do it. I've done it before. I'm going to do it again. And this time we're going to be more victorious. But I got to go back to you. I got to go back to you. So what happens, God leads us to a place where he allows the storm to draw out so that we can know where our weaknesses are. My weakness this season is my doubting. My doubting. Why am I doubting? This is a new place of growth. You may be doubting this season because it's a new place of growth. You've never seen growth like this before. You've never been in this situation. And so now that you're in this situation, my leader, now you got to have more faith. You got to believe even stronger. So now to believe even stronger, you got to pray harder. You got to call on God more often. You got to set your sight on Jesus. You have to. And this is going to continue to allow your faith to go forward. You got to talk to other believers. Listen to more testimonials. Remember and reflect on what God has done before in your life. He's gonna do it again. But you cannot take your eyes off of Jesus, my leaders. This is today's message of God doing the supernatural. We say God can do beyond our imagination. What does that mean? That means that in this place of unlimited possibility,